Good morning. It is 4:18 a.m. on Monday morning. I couldn't sleep. Last week in the insurance industry, wow. Bold Penguin to American Family, didn't see that one coming. EZLynx to Applied, definitely didn't see that one coming. And as I listened to the response from the industry conscious over the last couple days, I questioned whether to even publish this video, but I couldn't sleep. So here we are. I got to get these thoughts and ideas out because I have some serious concerns, but I don't know that they're the same concerns that we've heard over the last 4 days. What I've heard is this sort of gut reaction to, oh no, I have ethical concerns around this much concentration of power. You know, we work in an industry that is clearly supportive of small business, of independence, of this independent distribution model. And when tech software giants are eating up other companies, is that supporting competition? Is that really what's going to move this channel and ultimately the industry forward? Very valid concerns and a conversation worth having. That said, I think there's another conversation, and I don't want to say it's a bigger conversation, but definitely a different conversation to be had as well. Over the last 2, 3, 4 years, I've been paying attention to the strategic moves and acquisitions that Applied has made. And Seth Zaremba and I actually hopped on a podcast this morning and started talking through those strategic acquisitions and what it means, trying to sort of distill Applied's overall strategy in terms of how they see themselves truly helping the independent agent win. And I think that's the conversation that's really worth, both conversations are really worth having, but I'd really like to have that one today. Let's give them the nugget, let's give them the pass on this sort of concentration of power. Is it even the right play? Is it even the right move? Does this actually help the independent agent move forward? Now, I don't sit in the C-suite of Applied. Obviously, I don't talk to those guys. There's no way that I have a comprehensive, holistic, perfectly crisp and clear picture of exactly what their strategy is. So I just want to start out by saying that. That said, I've started paying attention to the moves that companies have made over the last 4 years. And I think there's a story that starts to unfold as you just watch historically what actions companies are taking. So, you think about some of those moves that Applied has made over the last few years. Alphabet coming in and investing, Google's investment firm, they put $100 million into.
Well, they didn't say 100 million. They put like a lot of zeros into it, so it could be more, right? It could be more. Realistically, 100 would be the jump off, but it could be a lot more.
Mm-hmm. So now you have this influx of cash, and you have a little bit of a reputation boost, ego boost, right? Acquisition of Tech Canary happened not too long after that. And, you think about the strategy. I was reading those press releases back last night. What did they say about the integration of Tech Canary into Applied? And, they did end up sunsetting that tech, but they did wrap a piece of it into Applied's system, that sales piece. So they said, okay, well, Salesforce has a great sales pipeline, so let's put that basically on top of our agency management system. And then you saw Reed French step down, Taylor Rhodes stepped in, became the new CEO of Applied. Then you've got that he appointed or hired Reed Holdsworth as the CEO of Ivans. And we had Reed Holdsworth on just a few weeks ago. I'd recommend listening to that podcast. He said some things about the strategy of Ivans, and if you just listen to the podcast, pay attention to where he's focusing. He says he's focusing on that sales pipeline and creating less waste in that piece of the puzzle. Then you've got the acquisition of Indio, and Indio is they're forms and, again, sales focused. Now you've got the acquisition of EZLynx, and read the press release. Taylor Rhodes says two things. Number one, maybe we'll keep the system around for agencies that are a little bit smaller and need a light system that they can use as they're growing, start out on. But more importantly, he says we want to integrate that rater into Applied. Again, sales focused. What is the pattern here? Are we putting the pieces together? You couldn't see it when it all started 6 moves ago or 7 moves ago. And again, I'm not sitting in the C-suite, so I don't know what the strategy is, but 7, these are massive deals. You don't go into, you don't hire new CEOs and acquire 3-4 companies all with this, unless there's some, strategic direct vision here. So I guess, what's the pattern? It's, hey, we applied, we want to make this sales cycle faster by eliminating clicks. And I think here's the bigger question that I want to pose, going back to this thought experiment, right? What is going to help the independent agent win? Let's just put aside our fear around, oh no, they've got another company. Okay, there's an argument to be made there, but let's give them the benefit of the doubt. Let's look at where they're going. Is it the right direction? Now, there's a lot more to the podcast than just those few minutes, but I wanted to get us on the same page as far as my thoughts, and this is 100% my opinion. I'm not sitting in the C-suite, I'll say that again, but watching these historical moves, trying to understand their strategic vision to help the independent agent win. And so now that we're on the same page on that, the big question is, does this actually help the independent agent win? If independent agents can sell more insurance in less time with less clicks, do they win? Do they gain back more market share? Is that the thing that customers want? That's the question you need to ask yourself as you're building out this tech stack to position yourself for the future. And I think there's 2 major concerns that I've got. Number one, okay, let's say that we help independent. Let's just look at the sales side of things and ignore the waste and the lack of experience that's created on the service side. Let's start with sales. Is the winning strategy to just take clicks down from 20 to 2? If you can quote with more carriers in less time, does that help you win more customers? Or do we need to start thinking in different terms? Instead of thinking in terms of less clicks, do we need to think in terms of the right clicks? I don't need to quote with 20 carriers. I need to figure out for this particular individual who the right carrier is, or the right 3 carriers are, because everybody likes a good, better, best. In order to get to that solution, we have to stop thinking in terms of technology being the answer and automation being the answer, but rather information and data. Think of the amount of data that you can collect inside of your system as an independent agent about which customers you've placed with which carriers. Think of how you can start to use that predictively. Think of how that tribal knowledge that's inside your producer's head, because they've seen that person come through 3 or 4 times and they kind of know which carrier it is. Think of that being scaled inside of a system. Stack that solution up against, I'm going to help you move faster with less clicks. Which strategy helps you win more customers? Which strategy helps independent agents gain back more market share? Now let's just assume that less clicks is the right strategy, the right vision to improve the sales process, the independent sales process. Hey, we're going to take the independent sales process from 20 clicks to 2 clicks. You're going to sell more insurance faster, where you're going to win the day. Well, what happens when those prospects become customers? What's the experience that you're giving them? How do they feel when it takes voicemails, days, and hours to get things done for them? Simple things, adding or removing a driver. Hey, client calls, I need to know the status of my claim. Great, let me hang up on the client, let me go leave 7 voicemails for the adjuster, then let me leave 2 voicemails for the client, get them back on the phone, and then by the time that I do, something's already changed with the status of the claim. How does that help retention? So now we're selling all these. The answer to the independent agent winning can't just be sell more faster. As a business owner, if we own the relationship with the customer, we have to own the relationship with the customer, which means we have to be thinking about experience today in a digital age. And the question becomes, are the platforms, are the tech companies, are the software companies that are the tools that we use in order to deliver that experience and deliver in the sales process, are they empowering us to be able to do that? And are you thinking about which software companies are going to help position you to be able to do that in the future? And so, I guess just coming full circle, and by the way, one more note on that, because we talked about retention and experience, which is lifetime value of the customer, super important. But even if you think about it in terms of your own margin, let's say that sales is winning the day, great. Well, if we want to sell more, we need to free up resources on the service side of things to be able to do that. And if we're wasting time emailing and sending PDFs and waiting on each other and stepping on each other's toes, we're wasting resources that could be used in the sales process. So again, full circle here. The big question, that I have around this move and acquisition by Applied, it isn't just around ethical concerns around the concentration of power and the lack of competition that's being created inside the space, which I absolutely believe is necessary, and that conversation needs to be had and it's worthwhile. But there's also a bigger conversation that you need to be having in your head as a business owner, thinking about which software companies are truly going to position you for the future. Maybe I'm personally going to just take a little bit more of an aggressive stance, but I do wonder if you play this strategy out, if all these pieces come together for Applied, and basically the solution, the big solution, capital T, capital B, capital S, is, dear Mr. and Mrs. Insurance Agency owner, we've figured out how to make the sales process faster by creating less clicks. That's our big thing. We've spent all of Google's money acquiring all these, technologies to piece the sales funnel together to make it better. I am worried that that's not enough for the independent agent to win.